Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Mohammed, your personal PMP coach from Certified with Ease, coming back to you guys with another brand new video. Okay, so we're solving questions because the best way to prepare for this exam is to solve as many problems. So remember, we are not necessarily going for the right answer only. We're trying to figure out the best way to approach these problems. So many people have come to me in the past saying, Mohammed, I solved thousands of problems. I still failed the exam. That's because it's not about getting the answer right all the time. It's about how you approach it. If you perfect the approach, the answer will come automatically. And that's exactly what we're focused on. Okay. And if you like the way that we teach, if you like the way that I approach problems, listen, guys, we got the PMP accelerator course over here. Book an appointment, check it out, right? We got concise theory with concise videos on the most important topics you will see on your exam, right? We got things like mindset training, for example. So not just PMP mindset principle, but actual training, how to answer questions, how to break it down in a very structured way. We got foundational questions. So every topic you can expect on the exam is covered in these sets of questions. Drag and drop, right? These are infamous now. The most popular topics you can expect with their respective question. You get the non-timed exam simulators. So after the cheat sheet terms, these are very concise terms that you have to know for the exam. You also have a non-timed exam simulator and a timed exam simulator. So you don't have to worry about the timer. Okay. And then the timed exam simulator, you have to worry about the timer. That's going to be more reflective of the actual exam. Awesome. So without further ado, let us begin with 1 second over here. Maybe mindset principles. Let us begin with our questions. Okay, great. 77. So again, we are reading the answers to try to figure out if we can eliminate using our PMP mindset. On your real exam, please do read the question first. A, provide feedback to the team using project performance evaluations. Okay, I like it. We're involving the team and we're using what has been stipulated as evaluation metrics for the project. Okay, let's move on. Nothing wrong with that. No principles are being contradicted. Include buffer time in the schedule to absorb future delays. Okay, so it seems like maybe there's some sort of delay in the project. The team messed up somehow. We don't want to include buffer time. We don't want to do that. Rather, we want to mitigate the delays even before they even become a problem. Remember our important principles over here, and I can't stress how important this principle is. Never settle for delays. By saying, you know what, guys, we're gonna add a buffer time, we are settling for that delay. We're saying it's going to happen, we accept it. Let's include a buffer time in our schedule. Escalate the impact. We don't want to escalate principle number 8. Create a change request to extend the project's duration and cost. So again, we don't want to do this right away. Okay, we want to do everything in our power to not extend the project's duration and costs. B, C, and D are gone. I'm going to go with A, but I want to read this question. I want to understand it together. A PM has been assigned a low priority project that includes new team members with no previous formal project experience. The project team has requested deadline extensions for the first development increment twice already. What should the project manager do to support the team? Okay, so we're not worried. Our problem statement is not the fact that they keep, it's not the fact that we need to extend something. Rather, it's that they keep asking for extensions when that should not happen. So we need to get the team members involved. The team members are at fault here. They are part of the problem statement. So we need to provide them feedback using performance evaluations, right? Because at the end of the day, they are going to be evaluated. It's the most important, it's the most relevant answer in this case. All right, awesome. So let's see what the answer is. Perfect. Okay, so some people chose B, but I disagree. I will go with A. Let us move on to question 78. All right, so A, establish a proactive knowledge sharing plan. Nothing wrong with that. Offer a new contract to the resource who is leaving. If only, right? If only, imagine I quit this company and there's a new contract waiting for you the moment you quit. Unless you're a A player and the company really needs you. Develop a contingency budget to replace the key resource. So that's not what a contingency budget is used for. What is a contingency budget used for? Well, the name implies a contingency. You have some risks that might turn into reality, that might turn into an actual issue. You have some budget set aside to address those problems. Okay? But in this case, it's not going to be used to replace the key resource. Actually, you know what? I haven't read the problem. It can be used to replace the key resource if there is some sort of risk, okay? But we have to read the question, all right? Because if this resource is leaving all of a sudden, the project then falls under risk, all right? Because we might not finish on time. So let's leave that for now. Update the risk register and inform the customer. Okay, nothing wrong with that. So a customer has provided excellent feedback on the project. However, key project resource leaving the company. Which measures should mitigate the impact of this key resource's departure? Okay. So this is very similar to the question, what should the project manager have done? It's along the same spectrum, and I'll explain why. We want to make sure that we have something in place to mitigate the impact. Meaning we're going back in the past and we're making sure that if one of these resources were to leave, we have some sort of action plan. The answer is going to be A. Establish a proactive knowledge sharing plan. That is the only answer that actually addresses how to mitigate the impact. Think about it. If this person is key, which they mention, then we want to make sure that we understand what this person is doing and that we're able to train others to do the same. None of the other ones, especially B is gone. C and D, they don't mitigate the impact. There's something that you can do after the resource leaves, but it doesn't mitigate the impact. Okay? All right, awesome. So, yes, exactly, we got it. Now let's move on. Okay, so A, identify all stakeholders who can positively affect the project. All right, so we don't want only positive stakeholders, right? Identify all stakeholders who can negatively affect the project. B, so again, we don't want to just restrict it. We need to include all stakeholders. Incorporate the needs of all the stakeholders into the communications management plan. Okay. Incorporate only primary stakeholders into the communications management plan. All right, the answer is C. Okay, the answer is C. This word over here only, we never want to select an answer that has a word that restricts the answer. Okay, that's one of our principles. And it's a very common MCQ trick. See, anytime an answer mentions only or immediately, or any other word that eliminates all other possibilities, eliminate that option. Okay? So I'm going to go with C. I'm not going to even read the question. Using our PMP mindset principles, right? And some common sense as well. It's a pretty simple one. All right. Okay. Meet with the general manager and convince them to return to using predictive approaches to avoid any risk. Okay, let me give you guys a little bit of a clue here, or a little hack. When you start using a project approach, you never want to go back and change it. The amount of delays, the amount of costs, the amount of risk associated with doing that is tremendous. So if we're telling this manager, go back to using a predictive approach, we never want to do that, okay? Just leave it as is. Ask the manager to review every requirement to ensure all projects will deliver the requested products. Okay. All right. Ask for a budget increase to implement a double check process to ensure business needs is included. So we never want to increase the budget. Principle number 2, okay, right over here. Again, I keep pointing to this print. These are the most common principles, guys. Number 1 and 2 especially. Never settle for extra costs. Let's see what else there is. Help sponsors And stakeholders craft the product vision and bring the team and product owner. That's beautiful, guys. Look at this product vision. You're taking that step back. You're bringing the team together, right? You're bringing everyone. You're clarifying things. That's principle number one, but it's also involving everyone, which we like. Okay, which we like. This is not escalating it. This is not escalating. Rather, when it comes to product vision, you want to involve everyone. Escalating is about involving someone that does not need to be involved. Remember that difference, okay? So just because you see sponsor does not mean that it's escalating. Awesome, we got it. Alrighty, next batch of questions. 81, continue executing the project as planned and add more resources if they are required. Okay, so continuing executing the project as planned is fine. It's fine. You know, we got to read the question though to verify that information if it is actually fine. We might be ignoring something very, very important. But add more resources if they're required? Nah, we don't want to do that. Why? What do resources cost? They cost extra money. Principle number 2, we don't want to do that. Okay? So A, gone. I'm not going to select that. Evaluate. Okay, so I like the word evaluate. That's principle number 1 in action. The project risk and add external experts to address the potential risk. These experts cost more money. Let's see what else there is. Review the lessons learned on similar projects so that they do not fall back into the same pattern. Okay. I like the word review. Lessons learned as well. We'll check this out. We have to read the question. Inform the sponsor about the risk and try to convince them to withdraw from the project. All right. So we don't inform the sponsor unless the question directly involves the sponsor. We don't inform because it's not the sponsor's responsibility. Let us see what the question says, okay? I need to understand the question a little bit more. So a PM is asked to develop maintenance planning software for a power plant. A similar project was executed by, we got this done. I know what the solution is. It's going to be this. Anytime, guys, one of our principles, they mention that a similar project, look at me, this is very important. I'm coming close to the camera because I want you to understand this. When the question mentions a similar project has been completed, they are telling you, pick the answer that uses that. C is going to be the answer. There we go. Okay? Simple as that. If they mention in the question that something similar has been done, they are telling you to use that information. Very important. Okay? Now, this is how we train the mindset. It's so important you recognize these patterns, that you don't become too rushed and impatient when answering questions. And I know it's difficult because you have a timer. You're stressed. It's an actual exam. But this is exactly how you train the PMP mindset. And this is exactly what we teach in the course. If you're interested, book that appointment. Book that appointment with the team. Shubs, our success coach, will take the call. He passed the exam using this course in 12 hours. Amazing. 12 hours. Okay? So if you're looking for a fast pass way to pass this exam, we'll help you with that. Okay? Anyways, enough self-promo. Let's move on. I got a self-promo, guys. I gotta tell you about the value that there is in this course, but also the fact that, you know what, at the end of the day, all of you have made it possible for me to make these videos, so I appreciate it. Okay? So A, ask the experienced members to lead the junior members to facilitate skill transfer. Organize networking sessions to allow the team members to get to know one another. Encourage team members to focus on delivering results with their specialized skills. I like the word encourage. But it seems like this is going to ignore the problem. Because you're telling them just, focus on this only. Like you're telling them to ignore everything. But we'll have to read the question. Ask the team to self-organize and escalate any issues. Okay, so this is a contradiction. Self-organization, that's what we want to do. Very important. Escalate any issues to the project manager. Self-organized teams are supposed to solve the problems unless they really can't. When they say escalate any issues, that's implying all the issues. Let's read the question. A newly formed project team includes team members who have been working in the company for a long time, as well as team members who are new. The project team members discover that there is a gap in communication between these two members, and they're finding it hard to collaborate with one another. What should the project manager do? Okay. Problem statement is simple, guys. There's a gap. There's a gap in communication. D is not going to solve anything. C is not going to solve anything because it's ignoring the core problem. Organizing networking sessions to allow team members to get to know one another. Ask the experienced members to lead the junior members to facilitate skills transfer. So it's not a skill transfer problem. It's a knowing one another problem. It's a communication issue, right? So I'm going to go with B. You see how important it is to understand the problem statement? Super essential, okay? Once you understand the problem statement, you're good to go. Principles are easy. Problem statement is hard. All right, question number 83. All right, start with the answers. A, work with the organization's legal department to identify local regulations to ensure project compliance. Okay, all right. Good answer. If we're talking about project compliance, the legal department is who we want to speak to. Project compliance, legal department. Legal department, project compliance. That's who we want. Work with the organization's project management office to build a project team of residents located in the city. To build a project team of residents? No. We don't just build a project team composed of residents, right? We're not hiring the residents. That's a strange answer. Work with the organization's real estate department and reach out to the local government to identify the best location for the store. Okay. Work with the local government to build the profiles of employees that work. Okay, so we got to read this question there. Every answer is really different. So let's read what this question is even about. A PM is working with an organization in a country and has been tasked with opening the first brick and mortar store in the country. Oh, working in country A and has been tasked with opening the first brick and mortar store in country B. Okay. The sponsor has identified the city for the store and wants to minimize any potential issue with the local government. What action should the PM take? Okay. Yeah, no, it's going to be A. Okay, so I was thinking about D because D mentions government, but the answer is very strange. Work with local government to build profiles of employees that will be working in the store? No, we're concerned about the regulations. We want to minimize any potential issues with the local government. We need to understand the regulations, or local regulations especially, right? So I'm going to go with A. Excellent. Got it. Okay. That's a little bit tricky because they mentioned government in the question, and they mentioned government, local government in the D, in the answer. Awesome. By the way, guys, let me know if you disagree with me in the answer in the comment section. It's very important. We can start a discussion and we can get to it, and let us continue. Okay. And 84. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So A, recommend agile training programs that best suit the client project manager's schedule. Okay. Propose a session for essential agile knowledge transfer for the client team to align with the daily meeting goals. Realign the project to a predictive approach. So again, when we start with a certain project approach, in this case, this seems like it's an agile project, or we need an agile project. We're not going to switch project approaches. Provide the client manager with the best agile practice documents and web resources. All right, let's read this up. An equipment vendor will implement a new production line for a client company. The year-long project will include 2 to 4 months long iterations. The client, however, the client's project manager has no agile experience. How should the project manager ensure the client is effectively represented in daily meetings? So they're telling you that this client wants to be ready or effectively represented in the daily meetings. Okay. B, propose a session for essential agile knowledge transfer for the client team to align with the daily meeting goals. That literally that takes the core problem and it rephrases it. It's like someone coming up to you and says, "Hey, what did you do on Saturday night?" And you reply with, "On Saturday night, I did this." Right? So I'm gonna go with what is it called? B, and let's just see what the answer is. B, we got it. And I'll explain why the other ones are not going to be great answers as well. Okay. Recommend agile training programs that best suit the client project manager's schedule. Okay. So we don't want to provide an entire agile training program. We're not going to be able to fit something in the project manager's schedule. Remember that the more things you add, you start reducing this team member or the project manager's capacity in this case. Okay. So one principle that we have over here, which is implicitly implied in that answer, okay, you got to get kind of used to it, is that we never want to give an extra task that will reduce someone's capacity. They mentioned PM in the question, and we say team member, but it's a general rule for everyone, any resource. Okay. Realign the project to predictive approach. So we said we don't do that. Provide the client project manager with agile best practice documents and web resources. Okay. So we could do that. We could provide documents, but the best way would be to align with the daily meeting goals because that's our main concern. Okay. All right. Let us do one more problem for today just to help you guys out as much as possible. So question 85. You know what? For 85, let's take the traditional route. Let's read the question, frame the problem, eliminate the answers. Okay, let's pretend we're taking the exam right now, and I'll show you a quick demonstration. Okay. All right. So 85. A project manager is working in a company that has several global offices. During resource planning for a new project, the PM realizes the company requires projects to include team members from different continents. What should the PM do to ensure successful project execution? Now you ask, okay, pause this video, but answer this question first. Tell me what the problem statement is. Pause the video and think about it and tell me what the problem statement is. The problem statement is that you have a global team and our concern is about executing when our team members are all over the world. What should we do? Plan for a meeting with the project sponsor to discuss the possibility of utilizing only local colleagues. Okay. Does this situation involve the project sponsor? It doesn't. Why are we involving him then? Eliminate. Send emails with information about the project deliverables on the first day of the project. How is that going to solve anything? We are worried about execution when it comes to a global team. Doesn't solve anything. Connect with every location and check their preferred methods of communication. Okay, that could work. Invite all resources to the project manager's location to form a cohesive team until all deliverables are completed. Imagine you have 200 team members all located in Brazil. So you're telling me that you're going to fly everyone over from Brazil, let's say to the States, 200 of them. Who's going to pay for that? D is gone. We're gonna select. And D is gone because of our principle, because of the extra costs and whatnot, and just the infeasibility, right? Just a little bit of common sense as well. So I'm gonna choose C. There we go. We got it. Okay. So that's exactly how you want to approach the questions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And again, guys, we have this awesome course ready for you guys. It'll help you get certified. I guarantee it. This is exactly the method that I've produced when going through the exam myself. And it's been refined and refined and refined. We keep refining it. We keep refining it so our students have the most relevant information before taking the exam. Take care for now. I'll see you guys in the next video.